In this new exciting era of technological innovation where the speed of communication has improved so profoundly, more and more professionals have recognized the need to integrate public relations, marketing and advertising strategies. Now, this will be discussed at great length at the upcoming Prisa conference under the theme Advance, Rise and Grow. Well, to discuss, I have with me Larkin, Chief Executive Officer at CVLC Communications. Welcome. Great to have you in studio. Always bumping into you at the big trade events. You always have your finger on the pulse of everything. So I'm so glad you could make time for us today, Catherine.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Tell us about your journey in this industry. How did you get to where you are now, Chief Executive Officer of CVLC Communications?
It's been a long time that I've been in the industry. I actually started out many years ago as a secretary, believe it or not. And as time went on, I started playing more of a role in public relations and communication, and I really found that fascinating. And I basically didn't leave the industry, so I worked my way up over the years.
That's fascinating. How are you doing things differently at CVLC Communications? Are you shaking things up a bit in the industry?
I think we're having a lot of fun and we're learning a lot. It's a fascinating industry to be in at the moment. It's challenging, it's turbulent, but the pace of change is so interesting, and one really can't afford to be behind. You have to try and stay on top of trends, which is why I think the Prisa conference is also so important. You know, particularly being a smaller agency, one doesn't always have access to the resources that bigger public relations companies have. So events like the Prisa conference are actually very important.
And of course, you know, given your time in the industry, you've been involved at the Prisa conference in one way or another for years. So you've been witness to those changes in the industry right now.
Yes, and I've seen the changes at Prisa. I've been a member of Prisa since I started out in the industry, so we go a long way back together. But it's really good to see the way Prisa is responding to the changing world of public relations and communication, and seeing that public relations is an integral part of the broader communication system. So it's exciting to see at the conference this year, for example, how we're having discussions and engaging with advertising agencies, marketing agencies, digital agencies, because public relations really cannot function on its own anymore.
Sure. How will you be participating at the Prisa conference as CVLC? What is your expectation?
Our expectation is really to get a handle on what's happening in the industry at the moment and to try and consolidate. There is so much happening, to get different perspectives and insights, get new knowledge, and also the conference is a great networking platform to network with the advertising agencies, digital agencies, see how they're doing things, what we should know about, brainstorm, be creative, try and do things differently, because I think at the moment that's what makes public relations, or the good public relations companies, stand out, doing things differently, being more creative, not the business as usual type of public relations, because that will just get swallowed up, you know, into well, it won't be memorable.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned in my intro, that is a big focus, that is to integrate public relations, marketing and advertising strategies. And of course, the excitement is around going digital right now. What are some of the exciting elements around this that will come up at Prisa? Do you know?
Well, they've actually got, at the end of the second day, a fascinating panel discussion. So they're bringing in industry experts from various sectors to talk about that, how digital communications will look in the future, what are some of the key trends, how you can use it effectively in a public relations campaign. Because I think to use these new platforms, one has to really understand them and get the most out of them. And particularly for the smaller companies, you know, one doesn't always have the resources to be experts in all these fields. So through activities like the Prisa conference, one will get a better understanding, and maybe also form partnerships with digital agencies who are there, advertising agencies who are at the conference, because it's important to broaden your network and have pockets of excellence that you can use for different campaigns that you're working on, so that you can really give your clients something great.
Sure. I want to come back to the networking opportunity just now again.
Yes.
But perhaps I think what would be interesting is for us to understand some of the thought process that goes into organizing this Prisa conference. Tell us a little bit about that. Give us some more insight. What are the thought processes? What are the factors? How does the venue get selected, for example?
Yes. Organizing the Prisa conference, or any conference for that matter, is quite a process. I think the starting point is to look at what are you trying to achieve from the conference. And for me, the Prisa conference, it needs to be a combination of things. We all work very hard, and it's almost the end of the year, and it's that time of year where you perhaps need a little bit of a break or a time to energize. So you want information, but you also want to have fun. You want to connect with people, do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. So I think that's one of the reasons why we have it, or are having it this year in Durban. The beach will always have that special appeal.
Absolutely, bringing out the pleasure to the conference, right?
Absolutely.
Business and pleasure.
Yes, and these days,
I think we need that.
Absolutely. And I think you find it with all the apps we have and the technologies, one can't separate anymore. This is business, this is pleasure. There is that integration. So bringing business and pleasure together through pleasure is actually what it's all about.
And that'll draw people as well. Great mix. What are some of the benefits for Prisa members? And give us a sense of the stature of Prisa in terms of how it's grown over the years to attract members. Why would somebody want to be a part of Prisa if you're in public relations?
Yes. To me, I think Prisa is the hub of public relations because of its network, because of its resources, because of its reputation. It's the one place where you can access tools, information, networks that you wouldn't be able to access anywhere else. It's got recognition both locally and internationally. And I found when traveling overseas, the fact that I'm a Prisa member opens me up to other PR consultancies around the world. And it gives you that international network. So I think Prisa members will get a lot of value from the attending the conference. But once it's like anything. If you work the conference, it really will work for you. Mm-hmm. But you need to come prepared, have a plan, and be open to new experiences. Mm-hmm. And particularly with the advertising contingent there, I'm sure they'll definitely be shaking things up in an exciting and innovative way.
Sounds wonderful. Networking opportunities always available at conferences, we know that. But what should be the expectations? How should a public relations company approach those networking opportunities?
I think we should approach it the same way as we approach any public relations campaign. We need to know at the outset why we're going there and what are we going to achieve. And as they drum into you in your early years, you need to have measurable objectives. So set yourself a target. I want to interact with 10 PR consultancies. I want to meet 3 advertising agencies. I want to go and have fun on the beach. And set those objectives and then work your way through them.
So have a plan so you can make the best of it, is what you're saying.
Yes, but definitely with that pleasure angle, not just hard work. Good fun, because it will re-energize you.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, and you'll probably come back after the conference with more ideas, more open to things, and a lot more energy, hopefully.
I like that pleasure term.
Yes.
Any last words around the conference? Perhaps I should ask you, what are the new exciting elements as well?
I think the most exciting element is finally working with other aspects or other platforms of communication. So being part or running alongside the Luries, I think, is a fantastic initiative that I hope will continue. But I think also the opportunity to open yourself to all the opportunities that will be at the conference. And if you suffer from FOMO, which we all know is the fear of missing out, you definitely should be at the Prisa conference. And it's also about a long-term relationship. To make it part, I think, of your annual must-do for public relations, because you'll meet people here at the conference this year, you'll meet them again next year, you'll build longer-term relationships. And I think for me, as a smaller public relations consultant or consultancy, I will use that opportunity to form partnerships with other Maybe it's public relations consultants, advertising agencies that can add value to my business and my clients, and we can look at forming partnerships, joint ventures down the line. So I think that's key. And obviously also meeting potential clients.
Well, you certainly have your strategy in place. We wish you all the best. Thank you for your time today.
Great. Thank you so much for having me. See you at the Prisa conference.
See you there.